Hey, I'm Chris from the Amazons. We're currently touring the US with Dirty Honey, and today we're going to be having a look through the stuff I use on stage. My favourite guitar that I have, and I play ever since I was 21, which has been about 4 years, is a Duesenberg Caribou, which is a German-made guitar. They make all of the parts in-house, so tuning pegs, whatever these are called, the knobs, all the electronics, everything's done at the Duesenberg factory, and they all put it together there. So it's very solid, and everything works, and the G-string tunes is brilliant. It's the best. P90 at the front, and a humbucker at the back. So you get that nice sort of warm tone at the front, and then a bit more edge at the back. So I'm pretty much always with the P90. Sometimes I'll play with the tone. Maybe if we're recording and I want that sort of quacky sound without using a wah pedal, I'll turn it right down. And it's almost always on full volume, and I'll use my pedals to dial everything else in. This one currently is tuned in D sharp, so just a half step down. And these are Ernie Ball skinny top heavy bottoms. I do most of the lead playing in the band, so having the sort of thinner strings up on the top, it's quite useful to get the big bends and stuff in. But then if we've got to crack out a big old riff, then I can do it down there too. This one is Gibson SG. It was originally a 62 reissue. I think I got it in 2017. It did used to have the old bell with the SG logo on it, but about a year after I got it, Gibson put out the Brian Ray signature, which is black and white, but it's got a nice bit of detailing, but I couldn't get that done. So I got these cut, because you can't buy these online, and got them fitted just for the look. I also got Emerson tuning pots put in, which are great. They're a bit more slippery than I'd like, but that's something I'll look at another day. These are skinny top heavy bottoms, and these are the vintage pickups. I've forgotten what they're called. Gibson vintage pickups. I put those in. So it's kind of, I've kind of made this one my own, and I love it. So this one's in C sharp. So what's that, a step and a half? These are always locked on, and I'm always on the bridge pickup. This one being in the lower tuning, I use this for songs such as Doubt It, and I kind of change it up depending on where we're playing. Because we're in America at the moment and we can't bring more than 2 guitars out on our tiny little budget, I've relearned 2 of the songs, relearned In My Mind and Black Magic in D sharp. So I actually use the Duesenberg for most of the set. So yeah, it's probably about a 60-40 split. But I have to say, I do prefer playing with the strings a bit tighter, but that's how they were written. So if we're going through the chain, got the TU3, good old standard. I used to have the TC Electronics Nano Polytuner 2, but this has a buffer in it, so I swapped. So I've got that. It's Keeley compressor. Don't know huge amount about that. You'll notice a lot of these are taped down. It's because I kept on kicking the knobs and changing settings while we were playing. But that's just to keep a bit more sustain when I'm doing the big bends and stuff in the solos. Pog. Originally got this when we were quite young to try and make us sound like a bigger band than we were on stage. So, you know, it kind of sounds like having 3 guitars playing at once. So I used that on most of the songs. Often I take that out just to make it a little less poggy. This is a JHS muffaletta. I have it on the JHS setting, even though you can't see it under the tape. This is my favourite fuzz pedal I've ever had, mainly because you can go through all these different settings. You can kind of see under there like the pi and the triangle and the Russian muff as well. Got the OCD. I've had that for a really long time. I've kind of never felt the need to have another overdrive pedal. Yeah, it's just like a solid, good, like crunchy kind of get anything from like AC/DC tones out of it. If you really want to, you can get to like Pantera territory if you really fancy it. TC Electronic Spark Booster, just have that as a clean boost. It adds a bit of treble and bass when I turn it on. This is a Mr. Black Guillemondo, which I think is made in Portland, Oregon, USA. Where we'll be going later on in the store. I use that every now and then, for example, in Junk Food, the riff, you'll hear that, or in the solo and In My Mind. It's a really nice, like, 8-stage phaser, which basically, I got that because Dave Gilmour uses that a lot in his playing, and although when I use it, it doesn't really sound like it, I like that I could go there if I wanted. This is a TC Electronics Hall of Fame. I use a lot of the TC stuff for kind of the bare bones of my sound. So like reverb, boost and delay are sort of some of the first pedals I got, and I've had them ever since. These two in particular are extremely versatile, like you can kind of get pretty much anything you want out of them. Like if you can think of it, you can probably get it out of either of these, especially with the tone print feature that they've got, which is where you plug it into your laptop and like upload different sounds. It's Polara. I have it pretty much usually on the spring setting. It's my favourite spring sound I've ever heard in the pedal. For one of the songs I'll put it onto the Halo setting, which is kind of like the Strymon, I can't remember what their setting's called, it's like Bright or something. It's like that kind of shimmery effect. It's probably called Shimmer, I think it's called Shimmer. Which again is that really nice like twinkly fairy dust kind of feel you can get on everything. Flashback, I got 3 settings. This one I never used, that one's just a sort of normal delay, and this one is a kind of a ping pong, which will split to these 2 amps behind us. This is a Fender Twin Reverb amp. I've forgotten which year it is. It's new, but it's a reissue of one of the ones from the 60s. For both of these amps, one of the main reasons I use them is I only have to turn 3 knobs to get the sound I want out of them. Well, this one's 4. But volume, and then those 3, I'm always using the custom channels, so that's all I've got to worry about. I mainly use this amp for like the balls of my sound. Try and get like the bass out of the big Celestin G12s in the back of it. And then with this one, this has always been my kind of go-to favourite amp. I use the normal channel, so I've only got to turn those 2 and that one. This is an AC15, so it kicks out like a way more like power than you would think, and I've never really felt the need to go louder, but I might try the AC30 one day. For our in-ears, I have some UE Pro 7s, I think, which were like the recommended guitarist monitors, and they're brilliant. We currently have an album out in the US. It's called Introducing the Amazons. It's kind of our take on some of our favourite records that we can see, like where people have come across the pond and they've done like introducing the Stones or introducing the Beatles. And it's got the best of our 2 albums on it, and it's kind of how we thought if we wanted to introduce someone into our band, what songs would we want them to hear them first. So that's out now in the US. We'll be doing a limited run of vinyl in a month or so. We'll be doing the whole rest of the tour with Dirty Honey, hopefully coming back the end of this year, and then a whole bunch of festivals in the UK, and you can find all of the info at theamazons.co.uk.